Have you ever wondered how evolutionary lines are drawn between extinct species? How do we infer that one form transitioned to another, then another, then another, and so on until we reach either an existing organism or an extinct dead end? It's all based on morphology. It's all we can base it on, since the soft tissues in DNA have not been preserved by the fossilization process, except in a few extremely rare cases where highly limited soft tissue preservation has occurred, such as a single hadrosaur heart. Some DNA is being extracted from ancient fossils, but it is heavily degraded, highly fragmentary, with unknown chromosomal positions, and useful only for loose inferences. Some scientists question if the extracted DNA even belongs to the original organism. Morphology is the name of the game for discerning transitions between forms. Therefore, I will guide you through the evolution of rabbits based on morphological characteristics. It all began with the field mouse, Apodivus agrarius, a small, furry rodent with a long tail that has sparse fur and a scaly appearance. Over time, mutation and selection resulted in a new, larger species of mouse, the house mouse, Mus musculus, similar to the field mouse, but larger with a slightly longer skull. As mutations accumulated and selection did its work, the house mouse evolved into the black rat, Rattus rattus, a much larger species with a notably higher tail-to-body length ratio. More mutations and further selection resulted in the Norway rat, Rattus norvegis, the largest rat and a highly efficient forager that outcompetes the black rat for precious resources. Even more mutations and under selective pressure to fill a niche not heavily competed for by the Norway rats, a new species evolved called the chinchilla, Chinchilla lentigira. It differs from the Norway rat in that it is larger, its skull is shortened, the ears are slightly lengthened, the tail developed long, dense fur, and the body fur is more dense and fine, and the hind feet are slightly elongated. Still more mutations and even greater selective pressures occurred, and the chinchilla evolved into the rabbit, Oryctolagus cuticus. It differs in that the tail was selected out in favor of a short, fluffy tail, the skull is slightly elongated, the ears are significantly larger, the hind feet are lengthened even more, and the body size was also increased. At the same time as the chinchilla was evolving, the Norway rat spawned an aquatic offshoot known as the muskrat, Ondatra zipithecus. This offshoot developed webbed feet, greater lung capacity, dense, multi-layered fur, a slightly flattened tail that can be used like a rudder, and a preference for woody aquatic plants. The muskrat, after many generations of mutation and selection, evolved into the beaver, Castor canadensis. The beaver is gigantic compared to other rodent species mentioned here, and it differs from the muskrat in several other important ways. The skull has been shortened, the large front teeth, characteristic of all rodents, are more developed, the body is thicker, and the tail is greatly broadened and flattened, making it useful both as a rudder and as a tool for packing mud. We are not concerned with the organisms that came between the forms mentioned here. We know that they exist because the forms mentioned here exist. We do not need to find the transitions between these forms because we have these forms, and the existence of these forms is sufficient evidence that intermediate forms existed as well. Alright, now every last one of you out there knows that this evolutionary chain never actually happened, and that every organism mentioned is a living organism, many from different parts of the world, but with similar relatives in the geographic regions that the animals mentioned exist today. However, it closely mirrors the evidential reasoning of evolutionists. It also demonstrates how creating an evolutionary line based off morphology can look good, but still be completely wrong. As you can see, there are some very important questions that are not being asked by evolutionists. More specifically, how can we be sure that we are drawing the right conclusions? The answer that they will not admit is that they can't. The next video will demonstrate how processes typically attributed to evolution fit in perfectly with creation theory.